There comes a point in life when you realize that peace is not about having a perfect life. It is not about having no problems, no difficult people, no disappointments, or no stress. Because life will always have something going on. There will always be people who misunderstand you. There will be situations you cannot control. There will be moments when someone disappoints you, hurts you, or makes you question yourself. Real peace is learning how to experience those things without allowing them to control who you become. And sometimes you do not even realize you have changed until you look back at the person you used to be. You used to argue about everything. You used to explain yourself over and over because you needed people to understand your intentions. You took things personally. You worried about what people thought of you. You stayed in the situations that made you unhappy because you were afraid of being alone. But something slowly changed. You became calmer, more selective about what deserves your attention. And you started realizing that protecting your peace is more valuable than winning every argument. If any of that sounds familiar, you may have finally reached a place that many people spend years trying to find. You have made peace with yourself. And in this video, we're going to look at 5 signs that show you have reached that point and why your life starts to feel different when you do. Sign 1. You no longer need everyone to understand you. There was probably a time when being misunderstood really bothered you. If someone had the wrong idea about you, you wanted to correct it immediately. You wanted to explain why you made a certain decision, why you reacted a certain way, or why you walked away from a particular situation. And sometimes you would keep explaining yourself even after you realized the other person had already made up their mind. But as you become more comfortable with yourself, something changes. You realize that not everyone is going to understand you. And that is okay. People see you through their own experiences, their own beliefs, and sometimes their own assumptions. You could have the best intentions in the world and someone could still choose to see you differently. That does not mean you have done something wrong, and it does not mean you have to spend your entire life trying to correct everyone's opinion of you. There is a certain freedom that comes from realizing you do not need to defend every decision you make. If you know why you made the choice and you can live with it, sometimes that is enough. This does not mean you become careless about criticism. If someone gives you honest feedback, you should be willing to listen. But there is a difference between learning from criticism and desperately seeking someone's approval. When you have made peace with yourself, you start knowing the difference. You can say, maybe I could have handled that better, without turning it into, maybe I am a terrible person. You can accept that someone does not like you without believing something is wrong with you. And you can walk away from an argument without feeling like you lost. That is peace. Sign 2, being alone no longer feels like being abandoned. A lot of people are uncomfortable with being alone, not because they actually need constant company, but because silence forces them to sit with themselves. When you are always surrounded by people, messages, social media, entertainment, and noise, you do not always have to think about how you are actually feeling. But when everything becomes quiet, you have to face yourself. And that can be uncomfortable. That is why some people stay in relationships they know are unhealthy. They know they are unhappy, but the idea of being alone scares them even more. So they accept things they should never accept just to avoid an empty space in their life. But when you start making peace with yourself, being alone becomes different. You can spend an evening by yourself without feeling like something is missing. You can go somewhere alone. You can sit quietly, take a walk, read, think, pray, journal, or simply do nothing for a while. And instead of asking, why does nobody want to be around me? You start thinking, I am actually okay with my own company. That does not mean you stop wanting relationships. It does not mean you stop appreciating friends, family, or a partner. It simply means you stop treating other people as the only source of your happiness. And that changes the kind of relationships you choose. You no longer stay with someone just because you are afraid of being alone. You no longer chase people who constantly make you feel unwanted. You become capable of saying, I would rather be alone than lose myself trying to keep someone, and that is a very powerful place to reach. Sign 3, you do not react to every disrespect. This one can be difficult, especially if you are someone who used to feel the need to defend yourself at every turn. When someone says something disrespectful, your first instinct might be to respond. You want them to know they crossed a line. You want the last word. You want to prove they cannot treat you that way. And sometimes you absolutely should speak up. Having boundaries does not mean becoming silent when someone mistreats you. But there is a difference between defending yourself and allowing someone else's behavior to control your emotions. When you have made peace with yourself, you become much more selective about what deserves a reaction. You start asking yourself a simple question. Is this worth disturbing my peace? Because not every insult needs a response. Not every opinion needs to be corrected. Not every person deserves access to your energy. And sometimes the strongest thing you can do is simply remove yourself from the situation. Think about how much energy people waste trying to win arguments that do not actually change anything. You can spend an hour explaining yourself to someone who has no intention of understanding you. You can let one person's disrespect ruin your entire mood. But why give someone that much control over you? Peace teaches you to choose your battles. You can recognize disrespect without becoming consumed by it. You can set a boundary without creating a war. And you can walk away without feeling like you have something to prove. That is emotional maturity. Sign 4, you stop comparing your life to everyone else. Comparison is one of the easiest ways to lose peace. You look at someone else's career and wonder why you are not there yet. You see someone else's relationship and start questioning your own. You see someone buying a house, traveling, getting married, or achieving something you have been working toward, and suddenly you feel like you are falling behind. And social media makes this even harder because you are constantly seeing people's highlights without seeing the full story behind them. You see the achievement, but not the years of struggle. You see the vacation, but not the problems they left at home. You see the relationship, but not what happens when the cameras are off. You see the success, but not what it cost them. And yet we compare our entire life to a few seconds of someone else's. Eventually you realize that comparison is not helping you grow. It is simply making you forget your own progress. When you have made peace with yourself, you stop asking, why am I not where they are? And you start asking, what can I do with where I am right now? That is a much healthier question. Maybe you are not where you want to be yet. That is okay. You can still appreciate how far you have come. Your life does not have to move at someone else's speed to have value. Some people reach certain goals early, others take longer, and neither path is wrong. Sign 5, you no longer feel the need to prove your worth. This is where a lot of things finally come together. When you are insecure about your worth, you spend a lot of time trying to prove something. You want people to see that you are successful. You want people to know you are intelligent. You want people who underestimated you to see what you have become. And there is nothing wrong with wanting to improve your life. The problem starts when your entire life becomes a performance for other people. Because if your happiness depends on proving something to someone, that person still has power over you. They may not be in your life anymore, but you are still living according to their opinion. Peace changes that. You begin improving because you want a better life, not because you need strangers to be impressed by it. You work hard because you have goals. You take care of yourself because you respect yourself. You grow because you want to become a better version of who you are. And whether anyone notices or not, you keep going. Compliments are nice, but you do not need them to feel valuable. Rejection hurts, but it does not convince you that you are worthless. And success feels good, but it does not become the only thing that gives your life meaning. You finally understand that your worth is not something you have to constantly earn. It is something you have to learn to recognize. And once you stop trying to prove yourself to everyone, you have so much more energy to actually build the life you want. Maybe you are watching this and realizing that you have changed in ways you never really noticed. Maybe you do not argue like you used to. Maybe you do not chase people anymore. Maybe you do not feel the same need to explain yourself. Maybe certain things that once kept you awake at night do not bother you anymore. If that is happening, do not overlook it. Growth does not always look like achieving something huge. Sometimes growth is simply realizing that something that used to control you no longer does. And that is what peace really is. It is not a life without problems. It is knowing that problems do not have to take your identity away from you. You do not have to win every argument. You do not have to be understood by everyone. You do not have to compare your journey to someone else's. And you do not have to spend your entire life proving that you are worthy. Sometimes the greatest sign that you have grown is simply this: you are no longer at war with yourself. And if you are still working toward that place, that is okay too. You do not have to figure everything out today. Start by protecting your peace. Pay attention to what drains you. Pay attention to the things you keep holding on to, even though they no longer serve you. And little by little, start choosing yourself in healthier ways. Because the goal is not to become someone who does not care about anything. The goal is to care about the right things: your character, your growth, your relationships, your future, your peace, and the person you are becoming. If this video connected with something you are going through right now, let me know in the comments. Which of these 5 signs do you recognize most in yourself? And if you are on a journey of becoming mentally stronger, protecting your peace and building a better life, subscribe to Spark Growth, and thanks for watching.